The rain had been falling steadily since noon when my phone buzzed with a text from Ryan. Found something interesting about 30 minutes out. Old psychiatric hospital from the 50s, still mostly intact. You in? I stared at the message, thumb hovering over the keyboard. We'd been exploring abandoned places for nearly 2 years now. Old farmhouses, shuttered schools, the occasional factory. But an asylum? That was new territory. Any security? I typed back. Chain link fence looks rusted through in spots. No signs of cameras. Might be our only chance before they demolish it. I glanced at the rain streaking down my apartment window. The gloomy October weather provided perfect cover. No kids would be daring each other to go inside on a day like this. No security guards doing lazy patrols. Just the empty halls waiting for us. Send coordinates. I'll grab my gear. The asylum emerged from the mist like a forgotten nightmare. 3 stories of crumbling red brick, every window either boarded or broken. The chain-link fence surrounding the property sagged in places, eaten away by decades of rust. Ryan pulled his truck off the service road, killing the engine behind a stand of overgrown pines. Front doors are welded shut, he said, pulling a flashlight from his backpack. But I spotted a basement window around back that's missing its bars. The rain had tapered to a cold drizzle as we picked our way through the debris field surrounding the building. Broken glass crunched underfoot, mixed with yellowed papers that might have been medical records decades ago. A faded sign near what was once the staff entrance read, Willowbrook Sanatorium in peeling paint. The basement window was just as Ryan described, a narrow opening with jagged glass teeth around the edges. He kicked out the remaining shards with his boot. Age before beauty, he grinned, motioning for me to go first. My boots hit wet concrete with a splash that echoed through the darkness. The beam of my flashlight revealed a long tunnel of a room, the old laundry facility, judging by the massive industrial machines lining the walls. The air smelled of mildew and something sharper, like ammonia that never quite faded. Ryan landed beside me with a grunt. Jesus, it's colder than a witch's tit down here, he whispered, his breath fogging in the beam of my light. We moved slowly, our footsteps unnaturally loud in the stagnant air. The basement corridor branched in several directions, but a set of stairs at the far end promised access to the main floors. As we climbed, the temperature seemed to drop another 10 degrees. The stairwell opened onto a long hallway lined with doors. Most hung crooked on their hinges, revealing glimpses of small rooms beyond. Patient rooms, I realized. The walls were covered in a patchwork of peeling paint and graffiti. Someone had spray painted, "All who enter die," in shaky red letters near the nurse's station. Ryan snorted. Original. We split up to document the space. Ryan moving down the hallway while I began photographing the nurse's station. The drawers had been pried open long ago, their contents strewn across the floor. I knelt to get a shot of a particularly eerie find, a rusted pair of restraints still bolted to the wall. That's when I heard it, a faint creak, like weight shifting on old floorboards. "Ryan?" I called softly. No response. The sound came again, followed by something else, a whisper of fabric against wood. I stood slowly, suddenly aware of how alone I was in this wing. My flashlight beam trembled As I swept it toward the hallway, Ryan had disappeared down. "Quit screwing around, man," I said, louder this time. My voice didn't sound as steady as I'd hoped. Silence. Then, a thump. Distant, but unmistakable. I found Ryan standing frozen halfway down the corridor, his flashlight trained on something at the far end. He didn't turn as I approached, just raised one hand in a silent warning to stop. At the end of the hall stood a single wooden chair, the kind that might have been used for therapy sessions. On its seat rested a small, pale shape. From this distance, it could have been a ball of paper or a wadded-up rag. "What are we looking at?" I whispered. Ryan's voice came out strangled. It moved. Before I could respond, the object, whatever it was, slid off the chair and hit the floor with a soft thud. We ran. The truck tires screeched as Ryan peeled onto the main road. Neither of us spoke until the asylum disappeared behind the tree line. "What the hell was that?" I finally gasped. Ryan's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. "It was a doll," he said. "One of those old porcelain ones with the painted faces. I saw it when I got closer." "But how did it?" "It was sitting upright when I first saw it," Ryan interrupted. "Then it leaned forward, like it was looking at me." The truck cab fell silent, except for the patter of rain on the windshield. I thought about the empty rooms we'd passed, the unlocked doors, the way our footsteps had echoed just a little too loudly, as if the building was amplifying them on purpose. Ryan exhaled sharply. I think someone else was in there with us. Back at my apartment, we pored over the photos on my laptop. Most showed exactly what we'd expected. Decay, vandalism, the slow reclaiming of man-made structures by nature. But the last few, I zoomed in on the final hallway shot. The chair stood empty now, but the floor beneath it. "Is that a hand?" Ryan whispered. The image was grainy, but unmistakable. Small, pale fingers curled around the chair leg, as if something had crawled beneath it, just as the photo was taken. We never went back. But sometimes, when the nights grow long and the wind rattles my windows just so, I pull up that photo again, and I swear, each time I look, those fingers have crept just a little further into the light. I hope the stories doesn't ruin your sleep entirely. If you're still craving more spooky shit, click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like the video to increase views. If you have any stories of your own, feel free to message them to me, and I'll add them in a video and shout you out. Spooky Daddy out.